Welcome to Comic and Screen. I am Sam Motton, and with me is Jason Book. And in this video, it's going to be a little bit of a sad story because we are going to be covering the last issue of Batman that features the creative team of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. They started on and relaunched Batman with the New 52 back in 2011, and they've had a pretty epic run for 51 issues now. 51 pretty solid issues. Going through lots of stuff with the Court of the Owls and the Death of the Family and 0 Hour and Endgame and Super Heavy, and now we come to the end of it, end of an era of Batman. So this is issue 51. So Jason, what were your thoughts as you went through this issue?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely like kind of a saying goodbye to the series for these guys, you could tell. There was a lot of nice little throwback parts to previous things that have come in their run. I really enjoyed the kind of mirror image of that part in issue 1 where he's facing all the bad guys. It was really cool. And, it wasn't like anything crazy or lots of stuff going on. It was really just kind of a nice swan song to their run on the title. And I enjoyed it. For what it was a good, solid issue as usual.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think after the run that they've had, they deserve to take an issue just to kind of let it all sink in, and do some kind of poetic touches of Gotham and showing that what Batman has done, even though sometimes it seems like Batman, is he really accomplishing anything? And there's always more criminals and stuff. And here this issue is trying to show like Batman has made a difference and Gotham does appreciate him, even though it seems dark and it seems like the lights are out sometimes. He has made this difference. And then, like you said, it was just in terms of the creative team, it was nice to see them throw back and have little echoes of these past stories and be like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember this thing. So I thought it was nice. It was great to just take a whole issue and let things kind of conclude. And it was nice that we had the big issue 50 last month to wrap up the actual story. And then this one could kind of just be some character moments and Alfred gets his hand back.
Yeah, exactly. They had to come up with something weird with that, a crazy quilt, right? I also like that we saw Capullo drawing the new costume design. Kind of reminded me of one of the animated series design a little bit, and the silhouette when he was against the building and stuff. It looked really cool.
Yeah, it was nice to feature that one. Kind of, a little preview of what can come in the DC Rebirth Batman suit, and making a little bit of a comment about the purple underneath the cape and that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah.
But they also just gave all the epic shots that you would want. Like, we have Gotham the city. We had a nice bat cave, widespread with the bat cave. We had the Batmobile, and then the new costume. So they kind of like went through their beats of like, let's bring a conclusion to all these big pieces and check in on the Joker and, him kind of saying mysteriously that he's not quite ready yet. So I'm wondering if the Joker is going to come back around with James Tynion IV.
Yeah, or maybe they're saving the Joker for something big in that all-star Batman that Snyder's writing. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting to think. So, we are going to get an issue 52, and actually, just 10 days or so, we're going to get 52, written by James Tynion and art by Albuquerque. That might be just a one-shot or something, because then we're going to get the Batman Rebirth right after that. But yeah, Scott Snyder's going off to his all-star Batman, and Greg Capullo, I think, is going to do something with Mark Millar there too. So, but DC Comics did an interview with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, and they looked back on the whole run, and that's kind of a nice read for people who are fans of this ongoing series.
Cool.
They said, how they started off and they had to get a feel for each other's style, and they weren't quite sure about it at first, but then they locked in, and now they're like kindred spirits and they love working with each other. And they both said that they actually have an idea to work together again after they do this next little thing. They're going to team back up and do this other idea. They didn't really say what it was, but that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, I heard Inklings that it's some sort of it might be an event book or something like that. So I'm pretty sure we'll get a chance to see them draw a lot of characters and write a lot of characters, and maybe kind of, like we saw in that part of Endgame where he was fighting the Justice League. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of creative people, partners, they might say like, oh yeah, we're going to work together again, but it might just be sort of like lip service.
Yeah.
But this one in the interview, it seemed like they actually had a specific thing that they've talked about doing together, and they even have a sort of a timeline of when they might do it. So I think this is actually they really do want to do something together in the future.
Yeah, it's really cool. And like I follow Snyder on Instagram, and like he talks about Capullo like his brother, he says. So you can tell they got a pretty special bond, and it's cool to see that these days because when you're making comics, you don't necessarily even live in the same city as someone. So to be able to develop that relationship just over the work and through the internet is pretty cool.
Yeah, and to have a run that's like going
Yeah.
on 5 years and be pretty solid through the whole thing, and the sales were good through all of it. So like everything is clicking and everything can kind of just build and grow. It's pretty special.
It totally is. And like we said a million times during, I've really enjoyed doing these reviews, and I want to see this kind of work come around for Superman. I think the character is really overdue for a book of this quality, not necessarily with the same creative team. I think they do an amazing job, but I'd really like to see this happen because Batman was already a super popular character and, has had a lot of his share of amazing runs, but this one definitely, for quality and length of the run, it's really up near the top, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, we've got one more issue that has a Greg Capullo cover, but it will be, the new creative people kind of taking over. So this is really the end of an era. Definitely a good one to sit down, and it's also good knowing that this issue is there so that if we ever go back and read through this run, it's nice to know that there's a really good, solid conclusion to kind of emotionally bring it all home at the end.
Totally, after the craziness of Super Heavy, I think they needed to do that, didn't they?
Yeah, and just to put everything back in place, which is a nice thing to do for the next team.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I've enjoyed talking about it a lot, and who knows, maybe one day we'll do a retrospective on the series because I really enjoyed it.